Hello you guys, welcome to Dark Souls 2. I am going to be doing a Batman video, a couple of them later, but I just wanted to do this video and show you guys the Stewie, a bit of the Stewie arsenal, and in Dark Souls 2. And the first two weapons of this of my arsenal is the Shadow Dagger and the Umbral Dagger. They're pretty great weapons, and I've pretty much destroyed people with them. And they're pretty fun to use, especially on Havel invaders, because they will send you hate mail, and it's adorable. Another one is the curved nil sword, and the curved nil sword is my favorite weapon in the game. I mean, I love this weapon. I love killing people with it. This is probably what I use. I say I'd use about a good 90% of the time in PvP, and even PvE. It's just a all-around fun weapon to use, and I love it. And the second weapon we have here is the falchion. I love the falchion too. It's pretty great. Pretty OP of a weapon, if you ask me. And the people I've killed with this weapon. Like, it's a cheap weapon. Yeah. I can't defend against the falchion. Yeah, it does bleeding. So that's a couple. And then, of course, we have the next ones, which are pretty great too, I'd say. Of course, we have the Drake Wing. Is it? Yeah. Drake Wing Ultra Greatsword. I love this weapon. Just shabam! I love that. I just love that. Who wouldn't love that? Who doesn't love this weapon? It's really a good weapon to use. Pretty decent. And then of course we have my second favorite weapon, which is the Majestic Greatsword, and I love dual wielding with this and doing the fancy flip. And I like one-handing it too in PvP. In PvP, I'll usually use a katana along with this, the falchion or longsword, which brings us to the longsword, because this weapon is pretty cool. Let's face it, pretty cool weapon here. Pretty diverse. Really. The longsword is really good in PvP. So if you're looking for a good PvP weapon, look no further than the longsword. And besides, if you don't know how to use the longsword in PvP, if you can't want to fight with the longsword, then you shouldn't be playing the game. In my opinion, you should not be playing Dark Souls or any Souls game if you can't win a fight with the longsword. And then we have the next batch here. Damn it. The next batch is pretty fun, I'd say. The Dragon Rider Twin Blade. I love this weapon. During the first 4 weeks of the game, when this game came out, I got this weapon and I was using it like crazy because this weapon was pretty cool. I'd say because I just love the twin blade. I just love this twin blade. I destroyed a lot of people with it. This is my counter for the red iron twin blade. Before this video, I was doing some PvP on the bridge, and I summoned a guy who was using the red iron twin blade. And I pulled this out, and I put sunlight blade on it, and I wrecked his ass. So this is my counter for the red iron twin blade. Bam. Of course, we have the ruler sword. This sword and I have some history together. I used this sword pretty early on. I actually first got this sword from a friend of mine because I could not kill Vendrick because I was a dipshit, and I was on like New Game 6, and when I first tried to fight Vendrick, and boy, I was not doing good at all, and I have a million. Yeah, I have a million souls on my counter right now, and this stacks pretty well with it. I believe it stops at 3 million though. So, of course, one of my favorites right here, the ultra fun sword. Oh, I've killed so many people with this weapon. This is my all-time favorite PvP weapon. I would have to say. I use this so much in PvP. This is my second most used weapon in my arsenal. The most used is, of course, the Nil Greatsword. And then we got a little further into it, and what we end up having is the butcher's knife, which a friend actually introduced me to this weapon after he kicked my ass countless times with it. So now I've integrated it into my system, and I kill things with it, and just completely wreck people. So pretty fun weapon to use in PvP. I don't really use it in PvE though, because I just never get around to it. I might start using it though. Might start using it. And then there's the Dragon Rider Halberd. This weapon and I go back a bit. The first time I got this weapon, I used it in PvP. Didn't do too great with it until I learned its moveset and how to trap people and bait people into falling for my attacks. And just after I figured that out, I destroyed with it. So pretty fun weapon. And then there's the Uchi Katana. Oh, and I love this katana. This is my second favorite katana in Dark Souls 2. Hate the dual wield stance though. Should be down a bit more, but whatever. I use this in PvP a lot in my early days of Dark Souls 2. I actually was temporarily banned from the servers because I used this weapon and I believe resonant weapon, and I just destroyed people. And somehow they reported me, and I couldn't go online for a couple of days, and was able to log in about 2 weeks later. So, yeah, pretty intense. I'm going to start using it again in PvP. It's going to make a comeback, along with Resonant Weapon. Of course, I was using Climax as well, so may have been more Climax than the Katana. If I'm being honest here. That's what I think it is. And, of course, we gotta go with the Fume Sword, which was new, a new edition when the second DLC came out, and I was able to get this sword, which took me 16 hours to kill the Fume Knight, and but I eventually did it, and I had 2 people from Japan help me on that. And I remember their names, so every time I see their name down, I try to summon them because I remember that day. I don't think they remember me though. Kind of sad. This was also a new edition when the third DLC came out. I love this sword. I truly love this sword. In PvE. Haven't really gotten around to using it in PvP yet, but I plan on doing so really soon, integrating it into that. And then of course, another introduction that was made in that same DLC was the Bone Fist. Oh my god, I love the Bone Fist. I use this in PvP every day after I found it. It was hit and miss at times. I won some, I lost some. I believe the biggest streak I have running with the Bone Fist is, I believe, 16 and 5. So, yeah. All 5 losses were in the same place, by the way. And they were in a row, too, so pretty annoying. And of course, we're getting down to the ends of my arsenal of weapons. So, let me put this in my left hand, because that's where I use it from. See, what haven't I showcased yet? Wow. Of course we haven't shown that one. Get off me, spider. This isn't the day to bite me. So Jorg's Spear was a huge addition after about a week after the first DLC, once I figured out its moveset, I wrecked people. I actually ganked with this weapon with a friend of mine, and it was really fun. And I believe the streak I have with this is 20 and 20. Wait, yeah. 20 and 9. Yeah, 20 and 9. And that was set a couple weeks ago, actually, the new record. Can't remember the old record, but yeah. And then, of course, who doesn't have this sword somewhere in their Dark Souls 2 arsenal? or even in Dark Souls arsenal. This sword and I have had some pretty amazing times in both PvP and PvE. Mostly PvP, because yeah, I integrated this into my arsenal after I saw a video Ouroboros put up. I believe it's Dancing in the Moonlight, and put it back in my arsenal after that, and yeah. So there's that, and then of course, another one of my top favorite weapons is the Black Crypt Sword. I have killed so many people with this in PvP. That's where I normally use this sword, is in PvP. I've started to use it in PvE again, but not so much as another. And of course, there is the Dragon Chime, which is one of the only things I use. Another thing I use is the Black Witch's Staff, but I currently don't have the Black Witch's Staff for this character yet, which I plan on changing in the near future before I start up my boss run again. So you can unclench your lower intestine, CJ. I will be starting my my boss run again soon. I'm just getting back into Dark Souls 2, and after a little spat I had with my devil aunt, so yeah, she's the spawn of Satan. Anyway, this video is winding down, and of course we come to the newest addition of my arsenal, which is, yeah, the Dragon Slayer Spear. I'm a Sunbro, and I have this. Another weapon I forgot to grab out of my item box is the Sun Sword, and that is a small part of my arsenal as well. But more so this. This is my current weapon I use in PvP. So when I do PvP videos soon, this is probably what I'll be using, and getting more familiar with it, because this spear is just so badass. And if they bring any spear into Dark Souls 3, let's have it be this one. I'd take this over York's Spear any day of the week. And York's Spear holds a very dear place in my heart, so that's really strange of me to say. And of course that will end the video. So next video I'll show you guys my armors, and have a nice night.